Hi everyone, in this video, let us try to know various job roles that are present in the data science field. Because before learning a subject or before entering a domain, we must have some basic knowledge regarding what are the different job roles and what are the different skills required for each job role and what are the packages. Because package is very important aspect in the today's software engineer's life, right? So it is very important to know all these things before we try to learn a subject or before we try to enter a domain. So in this video, I am going to clear all your doubts regarding these aspects. Let's begin the video. The first job role that we are going to discuss about is business analyst. Business analyst is a person who communicates with the customer or the client, understands his needs and collects data from him and help him identify the business problem. Because at the end, we need to develop a project. To develop a project, we should understand what is the main business problem. After several meetings with the client, the business analyst have to gather all the requirements for the project. Once he gathered all the requirements, he should provide those requirements to the technical team. It is not like once the requirements are given to the technical team, they start building the product. It's not like that. What will happen is that the technical team in turn will have queries and doubts. The business analyst should be in a position to solve all the queries or the doubts of the technical team and help them develop the product. And once the product is developed by the technical team, the business analyst should be in a position to verify all the requirements. And once he verified all the requirements and found the project to be good, he should deliver the project to the client or the customer. At the time of delivery, he should be able to communicate with the client and explain him the project in such a manner that the client is completely satisfied. So for all these things, the business analyst should be having some good communication skills and understanding skills, because he need to take the data from the customer, right? So he should have good understanding skills also. And to perform the requirement verification, the business analyst should be having some basic machine learning knowledge to test the project. So these are all the requirements for the business analyst. In India, the salary expectation for this role is around 3 to 8 lakhs with the average package of 3.5 lakhs per annum. Second role that we are going to discuss is data engineer. Once the requirements have been gathered by the business analyst, the data engineer is the person who should be in a position to gather the necessary data for the project to be built from various resources. It may be external resources or internal resources. External data includes collecting the data from the various Google network by using several techniques called web scraping, etc. Internal data includes collecting the data from the client itself. So he should be in a position to collect the data from the various resources and manage the data and store the data into a database in such a way that the database can be processed by the next technical teams, which includes machine learning engineer, data scientist and data analyst and so on. So he should be in a position to collect all the data which is relevant to the project, because the data is key for a machine learning project. So the data collected by the data engineer should be quite relevant to the project. He should be having some programming language skills based on the company requirements. Most of the time he should be having some command in SQL language, in MongoDB language, in Python language, in Java language. He should be having command on Hadoop and relational database management languages, etc. This is one of the important role when you try to observe in the pipeline of the data science, because the data collected by the data engineer is pretty important for the model to operate. So he should be in a position to understand the need or the requirements given by the business analyst and the client, and he should gather the data in such a way that the data is quite appropriate to solve the business issue. In India, the salary expectation for the role of data engineer is around 4 to 20 lakhs per annum and with an average package of 7 lakhs per annum. The next job role that we are going to talk about is data analyst. The main role of data analyst is to take the data or take the database provided by the data engineer and the business analyst from various resources, and he tries to clean the data, process the data, understand the data, and he tries to make sense out of the data. And at the end, he tries to find the patterns and insights from the data by using various statistical tools such as histogram, PDF, CDF, box plots and whatnot, various statistical tools to get a pretty good insight from the data. Because the main aim of the data analyst is to understand the data and find the patterns and manage the data in such a way that he should acquire more knowledge about the data and get more insights from the data. So the best example for the data analyst role is stock analysis. Based on the company he is working, he should be having command on the following languages. He should be having command on the Python language, R language, SQL language. He should be able to produce good visualization, because at the end, The main task is to produce some visualizations like this and make the client or make the business manager to understand some patterns according to the business. And he should be having some great statistical skills. So the salary expectation for this role in India is 3 to 12 lakhs with an average package of 5 lakhs per annum. The next job role that we are going to talk about is data scientist. The data scientist is a person who should be combining the skills of business analyst, data analyst, and data engineer. In addition, he should have good command in the machine learning algorithms, and he should be in a position to create the predictive models by using the data and trying to predict the future outcomes. So the main difference between the data scientist and the data analyst. The data analyst tries to identify patterns and trends on the data and tries to get the knowledge out of the data that is already present. Whereas the data scientist takes this data, applies various algorithms, and tries to produce the future outcomes. So that is the main difference between the data analyst and the data scientist. The skills required by the data scientist are, he should be good at various machine learning algorithms, various deep learning algorithms. He should have some good command on Python, TensorFlow, Hadoop, etc. So these are the main requirements for the data scientist role, and the salary expectation for this role is pretty high. That is from 5 lakhs to 20 lakhs with an average package of 8.5 lakhs per annum. The last role that we are going to talk about is machine learning engineer or machine learning researcher. Most of the time, the both roles meant the same, but in few cases they might differ. Now let us try to understand what are the different skills that are required for this job role. These are the people who have the greatest command, or what should I say, who have some greatest knowledge or some strong knowledge, that is PhD level knowledge or master level knowledge on the machine learning algorithms and deep learning algorithms. Because in most of the cases, the data models built by the data analyst will solve the purpose. But when the data models built by the data scientist fails, because he tries to build the data models based on the algorithms that are already present. So if the algorithms which are already present fails on the data that we have, fails on the data that we are having, then the role of the machine learning researcher will become very, very important. Because the machine learning researcher who is having some PhD or masters in that machine learning and deep learning languages, he should be in a position that he will create a new algorithm based on the algorithms which are already present and based on the data that we are having, in such a way that the new algorithm now when applied on our data will produce some great high accuracy when compared to the algorithms that are already present which are applied by the data scientist. So the machine learning researcher is a person who should be having high command on the machine learning languages and the deep learning languages, and should be having good command on the programming language such as Python or R language, depends upon the company need. Most of the time, the both machine learning researcher or the engineer role meant the same. But based on some companies, it is said that the machine learning engineer is the one who is responsible for all the deployment and all the real-time maintenance of the model. But in the most of the companies, the both roles are treated as same. So the salary expectation for this role is around 5 to 20 lakhs in India, because this is the most paid role, because the machine learning researcher is a person who should be having PhD or masters. He should be in a position that he develops the algorithm itself. So that's the reason this is the highest paid role in entire pipeline of the data science. So the salary expectation for this role is around 5 to 20 lakhs with the average package of 10 lakhs per annum. This is the highest paid job. And when you try to see that both job roles differently, so the average package of the machine learning engineer, if you consider that the machine learning engineer is the only person who is responsible for the deployment and the real-time monitoring the model, then the salary package for the machine learning engineer would be around 6 lakhs per annum. But most of the cases, they both meant same. And please note that there is one point that I want to mention here. Please note that these salary packages are collected from the various websites and various platforms and various companies. So these salary packages, when you talk about USA, United States of America, these salary packages will vary 3 to 4 times. Okay, these salary packages will vary from 3 to 4 times. These salary packages are only for the India in the year 2022. And one more thing to keep in mind is that there is great scope for all the job roles that we have discussed till now. In next 10 to 15 years, these are the jobs that are going to rule the software industry. So I wish every one of you should join this career and pursue your career.